trust than mutual competition, we will be better off. We will amplify the positive things to a level where it gives us a lot of benefits. So that we have seen very effectively working. And this is just an example. We also use it as a fun as well as how do we get the message across. Nice. With this, so we hope all of you are out of your sleep now. Thank you. Yeah, we'll start with what we are going to do is today. Digital transformation is broad spectrum, and in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been used, abused, misused, and very interestingly been leveraged to a level where everyone talks about it. How many of you are comfortable? I mean, how many of you have been part of any digital transformation program? Okay. So when, if you are, can you just give a few words about what is digital transformation for you?
What does it do for you? You're saying you're part of digital transformation. What does it mean to you?
Transform from legacy
Transform from legacy
to new system.
to new system.
New system.
Nice.
Okay.
Improve customer experience.
Improve customer experience. Awesome.
Anything that you could have been doing manually, you sort of get them on
Automate.
automation.
Okay.
Offline to
Anything from
online.
manual to okay. Nice.
Make it
Yep.
faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
So using digital technologies to provide a better outcome to the end users, customers. Okay.
Like, it makes it faster. Like even the colleges now we are getting into the exam system using tablets and
Okay.
like computer operated questions answers.
Make things faster and foolproof if possible. Okay. Nice. Okay. All these things absolutely right. And in fact, it involves many things. So one of the challenges when we deal with something like this, very generic, latest, there is a fad in the industry, everyone has our own mental model about what it is. So what we are trying to do in this session is, in 1.5 hours, we may not be able to, digital transformation may be a course we can run for maybe 6 months. So what we are going to do is, we'll touch upon a few techniques. Since it's a tutorial session, we will touch upon a few techniques that we can utilize to understand our problem better, understand our customer better, and how the new age organization could look. So we are trying to touch upon in the whole gamut, if you look at, from the initial problem what we are trying to solve, for whom, and how are we trying to solve. Basically that's what we are trying to do, right? Irrespective of whether we call it as digital or manufacturing or whatever it is, we are trying to solve some problem for somebody in some way. So let us look at how do we identify the right problem to solve and how to solve it right.
And,
Make sense? Let us look at a few techniques.
As part of champions of your transformation, you need to understand why is the transformation happening, and we'll also cover on the various dimensions as a framework, not necessarily as a end-to-end. As he said, it's very hard to do it. So what are the dimensions that as champions of digital transformation you need to look at?
Okay, we gave introductions.
I think as a first point, right, Industry 4.0, industry as a word, Industry 4.0 as a word came from German. When they moved from pure automation, they moved it into creating smaller and smaller IoT devices in their manufacturing. That's where the whole movement towards 4.0 started. And as you can imagine, 4.0 comes, it has a higher level of complexity from where we started. What this brings us, it brings 4 different areas that we need to look at. One is the need for hyper specialization. When you say hyper specialization, if you have a very generic solution, you would immediately get lost, because there is no need for you to be existing itself, because this ecosystem is there. We are not in 1950 where there was very few solutions. There are multiple solutions. You have to be hyper specialized, and moment you have to be specialized, you also have to have a very good level of interoperability. We'll talk about communication plan and how do you create that collaborative model. It's one of the games that we are doing. And then business agility. How quickly do you do? How quickly can you validate? And blurring. When I say blurring of borders, not just from we kept talking about 3 years back, when I automate, is the tester job going off? to develop, only developers can be there. That's not what I'm talking about. Blurring of borders could be in terms of companies' borders, it's blurring. It could be from robots and people are working together. Those borders are also blurring as we speak. And why digital transformation, right?
Yeah, so that's what we quickly touched upon during the initial. Sorry, any question, please?
No, I was saying before why, if you can briefly touch upon what is digital transformation.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, in what is digital transformation? If you look at it, there are three main pillars to it. One is the business model is changing. When you say purely a digital company, you're saying the business, the way you're connecting with the customer is changing because customers themselves are changing in their way. I think that is the first pillar. The second pillar is your operations, the way you are leveraging operation. Someone was talking about Philips, or P&G. They are really leveraging the operations that they are inherently having it and capitalizing that. The third is the technology itself is changing it to make some of these things that we were originally even just thought of it. It's now making that happen. If you look at digital transformation, we're talking about, think of it all three dimensions. How do you, when I say how do you make your workforce, adapt to the latest technologies? Because you are not going to say, okay, I'm going to do transformation, I'm going to hire a new set of people. That's not how it works. The same as operations. When you say operations, you have to figure out how do you get the best out of your competency and make that. When the customer is changing, customers need an expectation from what you're doing is changing. So these are the three things. It's also about when I say technology, technology is not just me working it; it's an ecosystem. That is the digital transformation. Three things: pillars, customer model is changing, how you are engaging. Second is operations. How well are you leveraging the operations? And the third, the big dimension is the technology ecosystem. You create some of them, collaborate, get it done, and then give it to the customer. That's what we mean by digital transformation.
Just adding to it, earlier, when I say earlier, sometime before, maybe a decade ago, very clearly, manufacturing or any other segment other than non-IT, if you look at, IT for them is more of an enabler to do business. And from there it moved to a strategic position where most of the times if you look at IT will be reporting into CFO because it's a cost center. From there it moved into a strategic position where companies like, for example, if you take UPS, their IT organization can come up with new offering that can be taken to the end user. So IT has become a strategic initiator rather than just being a cost center. So that shift from all across any industry you take. Why I took industry, manufacturing as an example, that is one of the very slow moving in the change. The inertia is very high because investments are high and stakes are very high. But even there, the impact of the technology, the impact of digital ecosystem has so profound impact, so profound effect that you see that change happening very fast, rapid. So the digital transformation, we talk about why. I wouldn't say why. This why is not about why do we need digital transformation. It is not about that. We all of us believe yes, it is. But what? Where? How are we going to do it? Where it is going to be impactful? Is it really digital transformation, or we are talking about we are just putting everything under one umbrella saying that it is digital transformation? So we hear a lot of things about one view of the customer. We talk about follow the customer across all the places where they go. All these things come under. You would have heard multiple things. So these are maybe just to, I don't know from there how much you can read, but just to give you a quick idea of what are the focus areas we have to look at. When we talk about digital transformation, we are talking about technology, people, leadership, change management, ecosystem, process, everything. That's why we said initially it is wide spectrum. And we have to look at all this. That's why we are talking about having a complete course for this. So what we are going to do now is, we will look at a few things around very clearly how will we define a problem so that we can use it across industry, irrespective of whether we are in IT or manufacturing or automotive or healthcare, wherever. And how do we understand our end user, irrespective of where we are. Even if we are in HR function or marketing function, we should know our end user, who is our customer. So how will we understand? How will we visualize effectively what we understand so that we can talk same language? A lot of times we understand, similarly you understand, similarly she understands, we all of us understand, we have our own mental models. We may not be understanding the same way. All our understandings are right, but not similar. So how do we get that?
And that translates into implementation chasms, right? You lose in the translation.
Yeah. So the change management is another very, very important thing. Yes, we all know this is important, fine, but how do we go there? How will we manage that? Are we really reaching there? How do we manage that? How do we effectively make it work in the shortest possible time? Yes.
Very basic question. Do you think when you talk about the word digital transformation, don't you think that all those things which you listed, we are not doing it or what?
Not in the current context with the
We
goal.
talk about mindfulness, this thing, process, everything we were doing it earlier 5 years back, no?
Exactly. The difference slightly happening is what we are trying to say is, yes, we are doing it. With the current change in the digital ecosystem, we have to understand the impact of it in all these areas and make sure we don't leave out anything.
Well, we had technology last 5 years back also. Now, the technologies are rapidly changing. How are we equipping the team? How quickly can you build or buy decisions? Have to be made. I think those are the things that we're talking about. And most importantly, I think the part around service integration, end-to-end flow. So creating those awareness and having a joint view of what the customer needs is what we're talking about. It's the reason why we are talking about it is because the whole what the customer needs are changing, and the thing is at the top, not all the solutions can happen because we are talking about proliferating. Each team has to create that. In fact, HP talks about having printer had to the .NET and the printer had to be created. They said we will kill one of them. They said no. This is innovation dilemma. I will not do that. I will fund both. So in the morning they're talking about having multiple schools of thought, multiple duplicate efforts may be there. Some of them may be more successful than the other, or there may be different customers. So those are the management practices that have to be created. Not saying okay, this is my model and how do you do that. So there are too many tools and techniques in this area. As we rightly said, originally said. We are only going to look at it. These are the ones we are going to touch upon, and we will go into a deeper mode into elevator pitch, the empathy map, and creating autonomous organizational design to make these digital transformation more effective. So when we talk about skill sets that are changing, we are talking about from the Industry 4.0 where machines were just helping in terms of improving the manual labor. That's when next came the mass production. Mass production where Ford talked about that I can give you any color of the car as long as it's black. So mass production, repeating it again and again. Where the measure or what the expectation from the management was around efficiency, about communication. How do you produce faster and quality? Then came the software enablement part of it from the 1990s, where we're talking about agility, adaptability, and creating better designs, creating user-centric designs. And the current era, where we need all of it and more. We need to have fallibility. Fallibility is being able to accepting failure. You try multiple things. If you fail, move on. What do you learn? Move on. Design thinking. I think we have talked enough. Moving to the empathy. Empathy is which customer problem are we solving? How can we stand unique to it? And specialization. At the same time, customizing some of the basic framework so that we can go faster to the market. Those are really the roles that are changing in the IoT-driven ecosystem, because not everybody can be specialized in everything. There's just so many technologies. Every day there's new technology that's coming up. So let's do an exercise now. So I want you to assume that you are introducing yourself to a chairperson for a NGO organization. Okay, to be the CEO. Okay, and she is looking for a CEO. How will you pitch yourself in 20 words? You all have a pen.
Take 1 minute.
1 minute.
Please, you have paper and you have notebook and pencil on your table. Try to pitch yourself for the role of a CEO for a NGO, not a conventional corporate. It's an NGO. How will you pitch yourself? In 20 words.
And
Can you make it better?
powerful words.
Yes.
And
Pardon? You don't want to pitch.
be immersive. I think.
Please, pitch saying why you don't want.
Note down some of the powerful words you use. I think you can, when we call you out, you can talk about it.
Yeah, that means we will call you out.
Yeah. Anyone wants to volunteer? I love the backbenchers. So,
Yeah, if you're done, please raise your hand.
anyone wants to
Anyone
volunteer?
want to volunteer? You want to read out your pitch?
Your pitch about why you want to be you have to be the CEO. You should be the CEO. We are getting to the point quickly. Only if you can, one or two of you can volunteer and tell. There's no right or wrong answers, guys.
It's a position of CEO.
Yes.
Sometimes to
Think through. Okay. I thought that's the easiest one. No?
Maybe I can go for
Yeah.
Yeah,
others are
please.
thinking. I would like to make this world a better place for all people.
Like to make the place better place for all the people. Nice. Okay.
Anyone else?
Yes.
I'd like to transform lives by addressing needs.
Nice. Okay. I would like to transform lives by addressing needs. Nice. Yes.
Service to society needs a big heart than money.
Service to society
Needs big heart than money.
needs